Hello, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones here today with our newest 3-card class. This kit features stamps and dies from Fawn, these adorable veggies. So we're going to make these 3 cards, and the kit will have a picture of each card and a list of all the things we use to make this kit are in the back. So for our first card, we're going to do this Thank You So Veggie Much. You are going to need some inks and some kind of blending tools, so whatever you prefer. So maybe I'll go over the list. Here is the list of inks that I used. So we've got Seedless Preserves, Gathered Twigs, Carved Pumpkin, Mowed Lawn, Worn Lipstick, Dusty Concord, Antique Linen, and Fired Brick. So those are the distress inks I used. So for this card, we're going to go ahead and start by layering up our veggies. So you should have a piece of scrap black paper in your kit, and hopefully it's long enough for you to get behind each one of those faces. So what you're going to need to do is kind of measure up, and I'm going to make a trim, and then that piece is going to get glued behind so that the eyes and mouth are black. So I'm going to do that with each one, and you need about 3/4 of an inch if you want to just use a trimmer, so that should be enough. But really, if you don't have enough, any black cardstock will do. Hopefully I gave you enough. Okay. So I'm going to flip those over and glue those on. So there's our little veggies. And now I inked up a couple of them. So let's start with the cauliflower, and I used Antique Linen. And I'm going to need a dauber. So I've got a finger dauber here. I'm going to put that into the Antique Linen and just lightly go around. And actually I'm just going to go around the top because I'm going to put leaves on it. So we don't really need it everywhere. So there's that one. I didn't add ink to my carrot or my tomato. You certainly could if you wanted to. And for the beet, I'm going to use Seedless Preserves, and very light-handed on this. So I'm going to tap off, and I'm just going to come on one side. Okay, and then it's up to you. I didn't on my sample, but if you wanted to, carved pumpkin on the carrot. And the red is not going to show up. I used Fired Brick, not quite dark enough. It shows up a little, but once it dries, you don't really see it. So you can find a darker red, or a brown might be a good choice, or even a purple might show up good on it. But there's the veggies, and then you have the greenery, or their leaves or stems. So I used Mowed Lawn, and I'm just going to come in and kind of darken them up a little here and there. ahead and put the leaves on. So this is the top for your tomato. Just put a little glue right here. And it's going to go right on top. For the carrot, I've got this with 3 leaves here, and the carrot has a little spot that you can tuck the leaves into. So I'm going to tuck them in there, flip it over, and glue it to the back. And the beet is the same way. Got a little spot to tuck that in. For the cauliflower, I'm just going to put that leaf at the bottom. All right. Use a little too much glue. Okay. So there is that. And now we can put the rest of our card together. So I'm going to start with this green cardstock here, and that is going to go onto the white card base. Just realizing I didn't clean my surface after I inked, so I'm going to do that real quick before I get it anywhere else. Okay. And then this yellow gingham paper. Okay, I'm out of adhesive. Of course, I am. All right, so I'm going to put this in the center of that green, and then we're going to put down this brown paper at the bottom. All right, and then our little veggies are just going to go across kind of that seam. And I did pop them up, so let's put some foam on the back. All right, the carrot. And the cauliflower. Tomato, see the beet. All right, there's our cute little veggies, and the finishing touch is going to be the little speech bubbles. So each one kind of coordinates with the veggie. This says, "I carrot thank you enough." And then you need, "I really mean it." Let's cats up. And have an upbeat day. Wherever you can fit that, I think I'll stick it right in there. All right, so that sweet little card is finished. Our next card is Sending Happy Thoughts Your Way. And so you do have this little Post-it note. It has all their little pink cheeks on there. So I'm just going to stick that back here so I don't lose it. All right, so let's start with our crate. Shove all this off to the side. So we're going to ink this up with some gathered twigs. I have a blending tool, and I'm just going to come in and darken it up. And then I'm going to do the same on these 3 pieces here. Just going to do the sides. All right. Clean that up. And then let's do this background piece. So you have this dark side, which you could certainly use if you wanted. I use the lighter side, and then I'm going to add some ink to it. So I have the seedless preserves, and I've got a blending brush, and I'm going to just ink this top portion. I'm going to tap off first. And just lightly come in the corner. And just like that. Clean that up. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this piece onto my white card base. Oh, come on. So I'm going to put that inked edge at the top. And then the green. So for the green, I did use a little mowed lawn. So I'm going to just get the edges of the grass. And I am going to go ahead and come around the... And this color is very similar to the cardstock, so it might fade a little, but we're just adding a little bit. So you could use something darker or not use it at all. All right. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to pop it up. So I'm just going to put some foam strips behind it. I'm not going to put any up there where those, like the edges of the grass are, because I'm going to tuck my crate in behind that. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And you cannot do this part because I also have this popped up in the onion. So there's a double layer of foam. So you can just glue this straight down if you prefer, and the crate as well, if you don't want all that to mention. And I'm just going to line that up at the bottom of that spiffy speckles paper, like so. And then your crate, I know this might feel like the bottom, it's actually the top, will sit in like that. So you could also, I have that popped up, but you could just pop this up and tuck it in there and then still pop up. It's up to you. But so what I'm going to do next is actually we need to, well, we'll do this first. So you have, there's 3 strips here, and that's where these go. So I just have them glued straight on there. Pop out those holes. You could put black behind these holes if you wanted to, or ink and black. I just left them the brown. so there's our crate. So what we need to do is ink up our veggies. So you have a carrot, a radish, an onion, and a beet. So we'll start with the beet. So this time I used Dusty Concord, I believe, on the beet. But you could go back with that seedless preserves. I was just trying to make it slightly different, I think, than the card, the back of the card. Just make it pop a little bit more. I think I need a different dauber then. Oh, I just went a little too dark, but that's okay. It'll dry back a little bit. So there's the beet. The onion, I think I mostly use gathered twigs, but you could certainly use the antique linen like we did on the cauliflower. So I don't know how well it'll show up. Oh, it does. Which I might prefer that, actually. I'm just going to use that. We'll see when it dries back. If it needs to be darker, I'll add some brown. And then for the radish, we used worn lipstick. So I believe it's this one. I'm going to come in on this side. Okay. And the carrot, we use the carved pumpkin. Okay. And I also need to do the greenery, or the leaves. So let me get out my mowed lawn. And what did I do with that dauber? There it is. I'm just coming from the bottom on these. Okay. Those are done. And I just have rubbing alcohol in my little container here. I think I got that container at the Dollar Tree, to be honest. And cleans up the ink really good, and it dries quick so your surface isn't wet. All right, the final step will be to put that black behind, just like we did before. So we just need to trim those down and glue them on. And okay, so final step, we're going to tuck in so the beet, the radish, and the carrot have a place for you to drop in the greenery. And the onion, I'm just going to pull a glue here and stick that on. All right, oops. So those are ready to go. So I'm going to bring my card over here, and here's the top. And what I'm going to do is put some adhesive just on that top piece. So this is where it's cut. And there's like a little line, a little line. I just put adhesive in between those two lines so that I can tuck my veggies in. And then when I press them down, they're on there. And then I've got the beet in the back here, like so. And the radish is in front of both. And you can play around with them so you can see their faces. Oh, speaking of faces, I forgot to put on their little, what you're gonna wanna do before you put them in there. We gotta put their little cheeks on. So just right here next to each smile, and get, these are super tiny. You're gonna want something to put them on. Might be easier to turn them all over. Some of them may be upside down on your, and then I'm gonna get my tool and just pick them up and put them on there. There we go. So let's do those. I forgot about these in class too. So it's just a little detail. They're cute without it, so if you don't want them, you don't have to use them. All right, now we got the cheeks on there, so now we can tuck them in. Yeah, the placement of your faces will vary, so you may have to play around and make sure you can see most of what you want to see. Oh my goodness, his little cheeks are moving. All right. My fingers are sticky, goodness sakes. Okay. All right, I'm good with that. So there's our veggies in there, and I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put foam on the back. So all right, I think that's good. And I'm going to like tuck that in behind that grass like so. Just make sure everything's down pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to remove all the backing and then put that down. So let's tuck that in behind there. Cute little veggies. And then, oh, he's kind of crooked, but I've kind of pushed it down. Oh, it's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. So I did put the onion straight down, and then I am going to pop up that sentiment. So I'll take the straight down. Little onion friend is going to go right there. And then the sending happy thoughts your way kind of goes across. You can put it at the bottom. I have it slightly overlapping my onion. I think I'm going to use some undo and get that off of there because my eyeballs won't let me quit seeing it. So let me take that off and then we'll come back. All right, I moved that just ever so slightly where it's not super obvious to me, so it looks better. Undo if you don't have that in your arsenal. You need to. It saves me from wasting lots of paper. So anyway, that card is finished. One last card. Thanks from my head to my toes. Tomatoes. A little punny sentiment. All right, let's see. Let's start with some inking. So we'll go ahead and start with this backdrop die. And I'm going to get gathered twigs, and I'm going to go around the edges first. All right, and then we're going to do each row. So you can just bend it back and do it like so if you want. That's probably the easiest way. You can also get a piece of scratch paper or a post-it note. I have some little ones here, and you can go in behind and create like a mask and do it like this. So whatever you want to do. A larger post-it note obviously would be ideal here, but I don't have it right here. So there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and put that onto my white card base, but I'm just going to kind of put adhesive around the outside because I want to be able to tuck into those stitched rows. And I have the smallest waves at the top of my card. And so now if I want, I can tuck things in behind there. Okay. So next let's ink up and build up our tomatoes. So you have 3 red and 2 orange. I used red, the fired brick, on all of the tomatoes. If the red doesn't show up good enough for you, then you could add a little brown as well. I'm being pretty heavy-handed with the ink, hoping that I'll be able to see a little bit of it. And then won't need to be heavy-handed on the orange ones. Alright, so there's that. Clean this off. Okay, and then the green. So got the mowed lawn, and I may add some of the gathered twig as well, just to dirty it up a little bit. Okay. One last thing to ink would be this signpost. So with the gathered twigs, I'm just going to go around the edges. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and put the tops. You have light and you have dark green. The dark green we're going to kind of flip over and use as grass. I don't have mine glued in there very well. So the lighter green we're going to put on top of the tomatoes. So just going to put some adhesive. Oh, I didn't ink the right side of that one, or I didn't ink it at all. Whoops. All right, so there's our tomatoes. And let's build up our sign. So you should have a black scrap of paper that should fit just behind your thanks. I'm going to glue that down. And I have it slightly tilted, so I'm going to put a little, and I have it turned just a little, like that. Okay, so let's put our card together. So you're going to need 2 tomatoes down here. So I may need to, I've got 2 reds and one of the and this guy is tucked into this one. So just like so. When you get them where you want them, I'm just going to go in and put a glue behind them and press them down. And our little post goes into this one as well. And you just want to make sure the thanks is not hanging up. Now I did put foam on the back of that. Just on top of the sign. And I think on this tomato as well, I just put some at the top of it. So I'm going to do that. Put glue at the bottom. So back in there like so, and then that kind of sticks out. And then I put some glue back there, maybe a little more. Like that. Okay. And then our little from my head to my toes is gonna, you can have it go the same way if you want. I'm gonna trim it down a little, might be a little long. Make it longer so that I can actually stamp on it. So there it is. So you can go, I have mine turned kind of the other direction. It's up to you, but you're going to probably need to put foam on either side, on the ends. All right. That, and then we're going to finish up here with these 2 little tomatoes, and then we haven't done this yet. So down here we have part of our fence post. So this is the full border that cuts. I'm going to take a pencil. You can actually put it in your trimmer and cut it at 4, or you can just go in and mark and trim with your scissors. And so I'm going to trim off a little bit, like so. And this piece is going to tuck in behind here. And this piece is going to go right here. Now I popped this piece up. And you can ink up your fence if you want to. I don't think I did. It looks like I may have like at the bottom of the posts. So I'm just gonna, I can hardly tell. It's up to you. I'm just gonna center that on that bottom row. And then this piece, I'll do the bottoms as well. And then I'm just going to glue this one straight down. All right. Glue that tomato in there. And then this one, I did that same thing where I put a little bit in front, just at the top. So there's that. And then you've got these 3 remaining tomato leaves that we're going to flip over and tuck in so they look like grass. I'm just going to put a little glue and just tuck it in. You could put it anywhere you want. Put it over here. I want to put this one over here. It's kind of fun. So I put one near each tomato cluster and one down here by the sign. All right, how cute. So that card is complete. All right, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these sweet little veggie cards. If you're interested in a kit, you can find us on the web at www.frommomentstomilstones.com, and you can look under card kits. This was called Garden Veggies. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time.